The only way out is in, and the only way around is through. My best friend, my soulmate, my angel, my grandmother passed away a few days ago. And so I'd like to speak about grief. Now, in the spiritual community, in the conscious community, there's a lot of spiritual bypassing when it comes to grief and loss, right? Especially when it comes to death. And if the numbers are real right now, a lot of you are experiencing death, you're experiencing loss, you're mourning, you're grieving. And oftentimes some of the things that you'll hear is, oh, well, she's in a better place. Oh, well, at least now he's a spirit and you can have this connection. Or, oh, well, you know, they're not really gone, they're here with you and you can have that connection, so it's okay. And while that may be true, I actually do believe that it is true. You cannot jump over the period of acknowledging that you are mourning, that you are grieving, that you feel a piece of you is dead. And so when faced with grief, when faced with feelings that are so overwhelming, that are ripping you apart from the inside out, what do? The only way out is in, and the only way around is through. So yes, you can look up all of the beautiful memes and all of the wonderful poems, and you can say all of the most amazing, positive, super conscious things. And yet, if you do not allow yourself to feel your feelings, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You are taking those emotions, those real, raw human emotions, and stuffing them down into your tissues, into a part of your body. Normally your heart, your chest, your lungs, your bowels, somewhere that holds grief. Right? In metaphysics, we know that the lungs, the heart, and the bowels hold grief. So you're stuffing away those emotions. And what's gonna happen? Unprocessed energy in motion, emotion, will then cause either blockages in your body or overactive activity in your body. And normally it leads to dis-ease or dis-ease. And so when you are sad, when you are feeling sad, when you're feeling like you're mourning, like you're grieving, the best thing to do is to go into it, to sit in it, to give yourself full permission to feel it so that you can heal it. And what does that look like? For everybody, we all grieve differently. But the one similarity, the one baseline is that it needs to be felt. It needs to be expressed. It needs to be honored. So let yourself break down. Let yourself cry. Let yourself scream. Let yourself do whatever the body naturally wants to do to honor the way that it feels. And so for me, that looks like waves of grief. Laying in bed, crying like uncontrollably. It means holding myself in that. It means acknowledging that there is no one else on this planet that can compare to the connection that I have with my grandma. It means allowing myself to be that little girl that is so sad and scared and lost. It means giving myself full permission to not show up fully and to not be okay in all of the moments. When somebody asks me how I'm doing, to honor that and say, hey, not so great. Yes, I know that there's beautiful lessons in this. Yes, I know that there's gold. And right now, I just want to cry. And we've been conditioned to be stripped from our feelings. We've been conditioned to put on a smile and pretend like it's all good. And if it's not, then we have to hide. Remove ourselves from society, remove ourselves from social media until we can come back as perfect, happy, smiley people. But that's the illusion. And that's where we're being stripped of our humanity. Already we can't meet in person. Already there's so much oppression that's happening and disconnection. But nobody can disconnect you from the way that you feel. Because the energy and the emotions it's something that is so intrinsically, so part of you. It is the most beautiful part. It's what gives us life. And so for anybody that this resonates with, for anybody who's going through mourning or grieving or loss, give yourself permission to feel all of it. And that truly will expedite the process of moving through it to the other side. And it's not beautiful all the time. It's not perfect all the time. It's messy. But you know what? Life is messy, and that's okay. Forget the idea of this picture perfect reality, because that's all bullshit. We live in an imperfect reality, and that is what's so perfect about it, because we get to show up in the mess. We get to show up in all of it, in the chaos and the turmoil and the grief and everything. So just know that whatever you're going through, you are growing through. You are growing through it. And we're in this together. I love you so much.